Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning into Molly's Salon. This is our weekly program every Thursday evening where I interview innovative thinkers and creative firebrands. We're living through a critical time in American history. The COVID-19 pandemic and a vital social justice movement led by Black Lives Matter. Our guests are a variety of artists and leaders discussing new ideas, how they're coping with the coronavirus and making positive social change, as well as showing us glimmers of hope for the future. My guests this week feature remarkable members of Arena Stage's production team: Sean Malarkey, carpenter; Deborah Nash, costume craftsperson; Lance Pennington, associate properties director. So let's get going. Sean Malarkey has been a scenic carpenter with Arena for 34 years. A scenic carpenter is a member of the team responsible for building sets. So the walls, the environment, the surrounding of what you see on stage is what Sean does. And I know Sean is coming in just a moment. And when he does, and here he is.
Hello.
Hi, Sean, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good. Okay, I love your shirt because it says Arena Stage.
Yeah, I work there. Or at least I used to. I'll get back there. You just wait.
Yep, we will all get back there, Sean. We are all looking forward to getting back into our physical building.
Oh, yeah.
What to do next?
Yes. Cannot wait. Really.
Yep. Well, Sean, I'm always so interested in what you do because a scenic carpenter is trained in woodwork, but also welding and foam carving and paper mache and so many power tools. So what do you think people don't understand about the role of the scenic carpenter?
Well, just the amount of detail and skill that actually goes behind all of it, even from the drafting stages, from like when Natalie, our technical director, would draft it all out, into discussing how something gets built. Just an extreme amount of detail about how it all comes together, what kind of materials you want to use. Also, sometimes we would discuss how to make something and then make it, and then find out that all the materials we used just didn't work at all. So you'd have to scrap all that and then come up with a whole another way of building it. And then finally getting it. We've been in instances where we would think we have everything worked out, and then we get it in the space, and then there's something else that you have to deal with in order to make something work. So there's a lot that goes on behind it, and it just, it can go on for hours and days and weeks sometimes trying to figure out how to make something work. So and on my end, I do a lot of rigging with flying scenery in our space, and especially in the arena, that's always a challenge to figure out how to make something else, because the arena is a tough space to rig in, and you have to come up with some things that no one would ever, you think, how in the world does somebody actually come up with something like that? But I don't know. But it can just a lot of planning and detail that goes into it all. It's maddening, and it's a lot of fun at the same time.
Well, Sean, when you talk about rigging, talk about a project that's been particularly difficult.
Let me see.
In terms of the creation of the system for rigging, because I think maybe some people that are listening may not even know what rigging is.
Yeah, for our listeners and viewing audience, anything that flies in and out, any scenery that you see moving in the arena, the Krieger, the Kogat, all gets tied together up above where you never see it, and it all gets rigged to either some type of mechanism that powers it, or you've got a person that runs it, like myself, manually. One of the more recent tough projects was let me see, we did
Mother Courage with
Mother
Katrin.
Courage was one. Mother Courage, that had the added element of flying in the young actress that we had, who was just recently.
Erin Weaver.
Yeah, and we flew her in. That's very difficult when you start to get into flying any individuals, because of course you're dealing with a human life, and extreme amount of caution must be taken to do something like that. Pajama Game, that was the one I was thinking of. That was particularly challenging to do that, because we had a number of fluorescent lights that would fly in, and sometimes scenery is rigged to fly actually underneath the pans. You know what the pans are in the arenas? It's a catwalk system basically, and sometimes you have to rig scenery to actually fly, you know, where a section of catwalk would span across, and that's pretty difficult to do. Most of the time anything like that gets cut, but in Pajama Game, we especially in the center of the stage, we had a clock that flew, we had a brick wall that flew, and something else that flew in there. So each thing that moves could have 4, 6, 8 different cables attached to it, and then go up to the grid, and then I'll have to mule around and turn in order to get to the computerized motor that drives it all. And for anyone that's never had the pleasure of being on the arena grid, it could be it's very tight to work up there, but at the same time, it's like figuring out a huge jigsaw puzzle. It's challenging in that way, just to figure out how to make something work. And I've been doing it for a long time, and I learned from Jim Glendenning, our technical director, from past years. He kind of like passed the ball to me as far as that was concerned. And in the old days, and back in the 80s, I did some time with the IATSE, International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employers, our union brothers, and I worked with a character named Rocky Rockwell, and he was the friendliest, most open person, rigging master that I've ever run across. He was just a delight to work with, and so was Jim, and they were great guys.
So great, Sean. Sean, are you ever sad when you have to tear down the set after a show closes? All that work for 4 or 5 weeks, and then it's taken apart. And I also see we only have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
I'm going to want you to answer that question, and then I want you to show us your hat, and then I want you to show us your book.
Okay. 98% of the time, I'm usually not sad, because it's running a show is very time consuming and taxing, and I'm ready to do another show. But every 2% of the time, I wish it would close. The original list, when we did the Kogot, I wanted that to run forever because that was a great time. I was sad when that closed. And my hat, let me see, yes. But even for all those, I had these made up. And I sent Molly one and sent a few from my friends out. I haven't been spending time working on the Trump re-election campaign, if you haven't figured that out by now.
I love it.
Yeah. So
and it's all about Malarkey, which is your last name. Enough Malarkey.
Yeah, and Joe Biden loves to use the term malarkey, so
Yep.
that's I came up with it. I certainly have had enough malarkey. I'm sure you have too.
Yep.
And this is our book that we have.
And show the picture of the first show that you saw at Arena, because I think this will be fascinating for people. Yeah, pull it in a little closer. And talk about what the show was.
Yes, this was the show that really put us on the map. Back in December of 1967, we did The Great White Hope, and my dad was in that. He played 4 different small roles: James Earl Jones and
Jane Alexander.
Jane Alexander. I mean, my God, just that alone. I mean, I could watch those 3 just paint a car and it'd be spectacular. But the show was just outstanding. I still don't think I've seen anything to top that. It was so well done. It was a powerful, powerful piece. And for a 10-year-old boy to be watching that was quite, it just kind of shaped where I wanted to go pretty much from that moment on. So, yeah, I thank my dad for being an actor at Arena Stage for that one.
Well, Sean, we're lucky to have you at Arena Stage. We're really lucky to have you at Arena Stage.
Thanks. I love being there, and I'm really looking forward to getting back.
Let's get back. Let's get back. Everybody wear your masks so we can get back.
I will, and my hat.
And your hat.
Who the running mate will be. We'll see.
Thank you so much, Sean, for coming on.
Pleasure.
Love to see you.
Good to see you.
Take care. Next up is Deborah Nash. And she is a costume craftsperson. Now, this is a very interesting job at Arena Stage because when you start describing what Deb does at Arena, and she's been at Arena for 21 years, these are craftspeople who have really honed their craft at Arena. She's been building hats, she's been building finery, and so much more for all of our shows. Hi, Deb. So great to see you. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Hi,
there, you got it. You got it. No, that's okay. That's okay. It's always a little complicated.
It is.
Deb, I loved it when you worked on my production of My Fair Lady. And
oh, that was fantastic. Yeah.
You created or worked on 85 hats.
It was a lot of them. I didn't do it alone. We had brought in an extra person to help with all of the sewing, and but it was fantastic because we got to do the whole process of ordering the materials directly from the Philippines, which was a process to then bring it all in, custom dye it to match the fabrics for the different garments, and then create all of the different styles for the ascot scene in particular.
Deb, can you describe just a little bit about how you shape a hat? Well, a little bit of what the process is?
Well, it depends on what the hat's going to be made out of. Usually what I do is I first create a mock-up out of paper or tag board that is the model of the shape of the hat that we can then try on the actor or actress. And then from that, create a form, a hat block, either out of wood or clay or buckram. And then I either steam or wet and mold the material onto the block so that when it dries, it maintains the shape. And then you go through a process of stiffening the felt or sizing the straw to make it rigid. And then once you take it off the block is when you get to the fun part of applying all of the trim, doing all this small detail work, and then eventually doing what you need to make it so that it can go on and off an actor's head quickly and be secure.
So what happens in the moment where you're working with the designer and you're working with the actor to make sure that the hat fits securely? Because we always have a lot of wild things that happen on stage, right?
Absolutely.
The theater's physical. So
yes.
how do you do that? What do you do?
Well, oftentimes you also need to bring in the wig designer to if there's a certain hairstyle involved. But there's a range of different things you can do. There are braids that you can sew in the back of the hat called horsehair that you can pin through with hat pins. You can also use a traditional hat pin. And nowadays we're starting to use magnets where we can create a little tiny magnet packet that's pinned in under the hairline. And then there's a coordinating magnet on the hat so that all the actor has to do is place the hat on their head and it will connect and stay on. But you definitely have to take into consideration the choreography that's going to be happening for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm really curious, what's the show that stands out in your mind? It can be a really wonderful show or a really awful show. And by awful, I just mean really complicated, but maybe at the end of it, you were super proud of it.
Honestly, I think I've been super proud of everything that I've worked on here. Every single production, every single designer and actor, they've all, allowed me to collaborate with them and to create, pieces of artwork that I've been proud of. I do remember one in particular was a production of Guys and Dolls. And the designer, Paul Taswell, had designed a hat for Adelaide that was meant to be something that she wore when she was sitting next to Sister Sarah. And they were commiserating over the men in their lives. And I think they were about to sing Marry a Man Today. And it was made up of 3 points. And Paul had asked that the center point be removable so that Adelaide at a certain point could pull it down and offer it to Sister Sarah as a handkerchief. And I had asked, well, what about making it so that another handkerchief pops up like a Kleenex box? And so we had to figure out the mechanics of how to create a secondary folded piece of silk underneath that could be attached. It was just a single little clear snap so that when the actress pulled the initial handkerchief away, another one would raise right back up. And it always seemed to get a lot of amusement for the audience.
It was really, really funny.
It was a great moment.
Really, really funny. I mean, it was, he's a wonderful designer.
Absolutely.
Really,
and it just was charming.
Yeah, absolutely charming. Now, Deb, you're also a featured artist on the Arena Stage Artist Marketplace.
I am. During the time of this pandemic, Arena has created a marketplace in order to provide employment and opportunities for artists, both performing and production artists who want to sell a service or an item to members of the public. And so I've been selling face masks made out of cotton material. And I have 12 different colors or patterns and 3 different sizes, and then been offering those to patrons. And so it's a way to, I think, keep Arena in the forefront and allow me to be creative during this time.
And I bought some masks, and I see Seema just said, Deb's masks are great. I bought 6.
Yes, and now it's been going very well, but it's also lovely to hear yesterday when we had a meeting that a lot of the artists have also been having wonderful experiences presenting either poetry that they've written or compositions that they've written or greetings, singing greetings. And so there's a lot on offer.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So Deb, I have 2 questions for you. We only have a couple minutes left.
Okay.
But let me start with maybe a fast one,
Okay.
which is when you see a hat walking down the street that you're curious about,
Yeah.
do you follow the person to start to figure out how it's constructed?
I do honestly take a second glance at the person and try to remember in my brain, the hat, and then maybe go back and see if I can find it online or something. But yes, I've never actually stopped anyone, but I certainly have admired different headwear on the Metro.
I love it. I love it. Well, so Deb, you're such a joyful person.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a pleasure to be around. You're a master artist. That's what's so exciting about interviewing the 3 of you tonight is you guys are the best at what you do. And I'm curious about what's bringing you joy right now in the middle of these double pandemics.
Honestly, just trying to reconnect and spend more time with family and friends. When you work in the theater and you work long hours and odd hours, it's sometimes hard to get time to spend with family and friends. And so having a little more opportunity to do that has brought me joy. And thinking about the future and the being able to be back together and producing art again, the excitement of that is also bringing me joy.
I loved what you said earlier. When we get back together, we have to throw a big party, maybe out at a park, and play different games and just be together.
Yeah, spend time together. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Deb. It was beautiful to see you, and you look absolutely bright. So
Oh,
thank you.
you. It's great to see you too.
Take care. Bye.
Take care.
Lance Pennington is the Associate Properties Director at Arena and has been with Arena for 43 years. Amazing, right? Lance works in soft goods, another misleading term because it means anything that's not part of wardrobe, but is cloth-based scenery or anything cut from cloth, including upholstery. So Lance, when you come on, there he is. Yep, now you need to turn your phone so it's on. Lance, happy birthday.
Well, thank you so much.
Happy birthday. I'm so excited that I've got you here and it's your birthday.
Who knew?
Who knew? Who knew? Well, a little bird just told me. A little bird just told me. And I love your shirt. It's got Arena Stage on it.
It
I always
has a
love to see that.
logo, and of which I am very proud. Obviously, I've spent most of my life at Arena Stage, and it has given me a home and a place to do what I do, and I've loved it. And I've met so many people that, well, I know Deb and I know Sean, and I admire both of their works. And I've worked with so many great people. So, here I am.
It's a good life, Lance. It's a good life. And some of the people, what I'm really curious about is tell about a time when a designer seemed ridiculously crazy and you thought, no, 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 no. But later you saw it was genius.
Well, I remember when we did the women, right after you came here.
Yeah.
And Tom Lynch did the set, and all of the furniture seemed to come up from the floor as pieces of the set. And he told me that he really wanted us to create bubbles for the bathroom scene. And I thought, oh my God, how do we do that without, well, I had done bubbles in Candide with balls all over, and they made noise, and I don't know. But he said, this is what I want. And so I went to the fabric store and I bought 3 different layers of fabric. And Marion, who works with the prop shop, Marion Dubé, and I pinned and pinned and pinned and sewed. And it was a layer of something to stretch, but it was opalescent. And then there was a hard netting to help hold up a fabric. And then in the bridal section, I found a wonderful loose netting that had sequins or paillettes that were opalescent. And we put the 3 of those together and put them on the actress. And she walked out semi-nude, I was told. And she had a snap in the back of her neck. And she sat on the floor, and the 2 pieces of scenery came up to make the bathtub. And then she just sort of moved. And I'll tell you, I thought it was bubbles. It was beautiful. And I think it took a lot of the audience a while to figure out that it wasn't really suds, that it was just an amazing piece of stagecraft. And
it was gorgeous.
It was
gorgeous. I remember it as if it were yesterday because it was so sexy. It was really intimate, but it was all done through these really simple materials. Just you created it in a really sophisticated way. And it was delightful.
It was. And I was very proud of it. And I'm sure Marion was also very proud that she helped doing this. So.
Yeah. And that was for the women, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned Candide, Lance. And I know you have something there from Candide that you were going to show us.
Well, having done Candide twice, the second time, the the scenery and the costumes were both done by Zach Brown. The first time it was Marjorie Slayman did the clothes and Zach did the set. But the second time he did it all, and he asked if we could do the sheep in pink. And I thought, oh my God. But it had actors who came through the floor with a puppet on each hand and helped sing the El Dorado song, and 2 actors who were actually in pink. But I have one of the sheep, well, from the pattern anyway. This I made for my mom after we did the show because, you know, she said she loved them.
She wanted it. Let's see the hooves. Oh my God, so sweet.
I took it off a pattern from some store in Pentagon City, some leather store. I saw a very nice sheep and I thought, that's what we need. So I took him apart and I patterned him and I ordered, I don't know if it looks pink here, but it really was pink 20 some years ago.
No, it actually looks white.
Yeah, it does. I think the pink faded over the years in the fake fur, but I think it worked very well for the show.
It's so great.
And 24 of those babies got put together with Marion and I.
24. You know, you have such an eye for detail, Lance, and I love hearing you talk about the importance of different shades when you're looking at colors. How do you work with a director or a designer to achieve the best look?
I try very hard to figure out what we're trying to achieve with color. And I also have to consider what the scenery is and the costumes are. And so it's very collaborative. And most of the work I do is with a designer, but I do run next door because my shop is next door to the costume shop and try to get a feel for what they have. And I don't want to compete with what they're doing. But I'm usually on my own for going out and swatching and saying, hey, this is something we could do. This is something we could do. And presenting them to the director and saying, are you happy with this and this and this, knowing what you know about the rest of the design. For example, when we worked on Anything Goes, you and I, and we were going to do the nightclub scene, and we were a little nervous about doing a pattern here and a solid here, and I found a pattern that I thought looked very aquatic yet Art Deco for that scene, and we put together a nice nightclub moment, and it looked good.
It was perfect. It was perfect. I mean, different people are sending notes on the chat, and I'll send them to everybody because, you know, people are saying it's so interesting to hear from these behind the scene experts. And a lot of people are saying happy birthday to you too, Lance.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know, you're famous at Arena for more than props, and we just have a couple minutes left, but I'd love for you to tell us about your Jean doll collection or the Christmas Village.
I do have a large collection of dolls, Jean dolls, who were designed by Mel Odom for a 40s movie star. And it's really the clothes and the look of the doll that I loved. And so I collected them, and I have maybe 100 plus, maybe 200 dolls sitting here. My Christmas stuff, I do the Department 56 Dickens Village, and every year I've been able to put it up. And I usually have maybe 10 or so people from Arena come over and look, and they have a great time because I overdo Christmas. I do, you know, everything is covered. I don't know, but it's part of the fun of having a holiday that one enjoys.
It's so great. Well, you're so creative in what you do, Lance, and I miss you. I miss you. I miss being in the theater with you, and I miss seeing you.
You and me both. I can't wait to get back. I can't wait for new challenges. I know I'm a little old and the years are going by, but I love it. and it has kept me going for, well, you said 43 years.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a better home.
Well, we can't imagine being happier than that you're part of the tribe, the Arena tribe.
Well, thank you so
So
much.
thank you so much.
Bye
Let's
now.
see each other in the flesh next. All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. That was fun, huh? What an incredible trio. My salon next week will be guest host by Seema Sueco, Deputy Artistic Director, because I'm off the grid. I'm taking a vacation and I'm going to be gone for a little while. But Seema's going to be terrific. And the guests will be Travis Lamont Ballinger, Leah Volick Productions, Soraya Chemily, award-winning writer and activist, and Don Ursula, actor of Tony Stone, which we're producing this next year, and Raisin in the Sun. And we have another treat for you. Today's gift of art is Brad Oscar and Diego Prieto singing from Damn Yankees from their home.
Hi, I'm Brad Oscar,
And I'm Diego Prieto,
and we met at Arena Stage in 2005.
doing a great production of Damn Yankees, directed by Arena Stage's very own Molly Smith, who later in 2012 was the officiant at our wedding.
At Arena Stage. So Arena is very special to us, as is the show Damn Yankees, where we met. So we're going to do a number from Damn Yankees that takes on even more resonance now than the authors could ever have imagined. And that's great art. All right, ready? Okay, places. Two lost souls on the highway of life. We ain't even got a sister or brother, but ain't it just great? Ain't it just grand? We got each other. Two lost ships on a stormy sea. One with no sail and one with no rudder. But ain't it just great? Ain't it just grand? We got each other. Two lost sheep in the wilds of the hills, far from the other Jacks and Jills. 6 feet. We wandered away and went astray, but we ain't fussing 'cause we got us, and we're two lost souls on the highway of life, and there is no one with whom we would rather say, ain't it just great? Ain't it just grand? We got each other. Dance break! Wherever we go, whatever we do, as long as you've got me and I've got you, we got a lot, because we got